Remember THX? If you grew up watching movies on VHS or DVD during the mid to late 2000s, chances are you've heard the deep note at least once. Some people loved it, while others feared it. As a kid, I couldn't stand it. The sound alone was enough to make me leave the room. But what I didn't know was that there was a THX trailer that had been considered lost media, and out of nowhere, someone discovered it and shared it publicly. And boy, the experience wasn't pleasant. Here's what happened. A few years ago, a user, who would like to be kept anonymous, posted on an old movie forum asking if anybody remembered this unusual THX trailer that was seen rarely, only a handful of times. They couldn't remember its name, only that it felt completely different from every other THX trailer they'd seen. At first, nobody seemed to believe them. Replies quickly filled with comments saying they had probably mixed two different trailers together or simply remembered a nightmare. The thread probably would have ended there, but another user replied. They claimed they remembered seeing the same trailer before a VHS copy of a movie sometime in the late 1990s. They couldn't remember the movie either, but they described the opening almost exactly the same way as the first user had. Neither knew each other. That was enough to get people interested. Over the next few months, more posts began appearing on different forums. People started wondering if it was simply an unreleased prototype, a promotional reel, or perhaps an edited version created for testing. Eventually, a Discord server for the search was created. I joined not long after. The search became surprisingly organized. Members searched archived THX websites through the Wayback Machine, hoping an old file name or promotional page had been forgotten. Others looked through VHSs. Collectors searched laserdiscs, demo tapes, convention recordings and forgotten home theater testings. Some people even contacted former THX employees. One member even emailed THX directly. There was no response at all. Weeks became months. Months became years. Every hopeful doubt eventually led to another unsuccess. Someone at one point claimed they owned a rare reel that contained it, only to find out their friend had thrown it out. Another person uploaded what they insisted was the trailer, but it turned out to be a fan edit. Eventually, people began leaving the server. Some admitted they no longer believed the trailer had ever existed. I almost agreed with them. That was until it happened. A new user joined. They never introduced themselves. People were intrigued. The user simply uploaded a video file of a VHS capture with the file name THX.AVI. No explanation from where they found it. No message. No trailer name. Just the file. At first, everyone assumed it was another fake. Some downloaded it anyway out of curiosity. Within minutes, no replies came through the chat. Then messages slowly started appearing. I don't think this is fake. Where did you get this? This isn't any THX trailer I've ever seen. Curiosity took a hold of me as well, and I downloaded the file. After it finished, I clicked play. The video began with 7 seconds of nothing but a black screen. No music, no sound, just silence. Then, the familiar blue rectangle outline, from that of the THX Broadway trailer, faded slowly into view. Only now, instead of staying on screen like normal, it zoomed towards the camera before disappearing from view. Then, a small red glow appeared in the distance. It began pulsing, almost like it was breathing. The deep note could then be heard, not loud, just quiet. An echo was also applied to it. The red glow slowly grew larger, then smaller again, then larger. Suddenly, footage began flashing on the screen. Buildings, hallways, faces, things that disappeared before your brain had time to process them. Then, the flashes became more violent. For a split second, dark stains appeared across the screen, as if the film itself had been splattered. They vanished almost immediately before another image replaced them. A defining scream was then heard, then another. Neither lasted more than a second. The deep note continued without changing tempo, making it impossible to tell whether the cries had been intentionally mixed into the soundtrack or were somehow bleeding in from another recording. The flashing went on faster. For a single frame, I caught what looked like someone's hand pressed against a wall. Another flash showed what might have been a shattered window. Another showing something dark striking the camera lens. Every image disappeared before I could be certain of what I had actually seen. Some people in the server later insisted the stains were blood. Others argued they were only damaged film frames or deteriorating VHS artifacts. Nobody could agree. Just when it became almost impossible to follow, a wet splattering sound was then heard briefly. It wasn't especially loud. It was simply out of place. A man's scream abruptly cut off halfway through, replaced by silence before the deep note from before faded back in again. The red glow returned and continued to swell, each pulse lingering longer than the last. With every pulse, the flashes became worse. Dark stains sprayed across the frame for only an instant before disappearing again. The screams became more frequent now, some distant, others so close it turned into bursts of static. One sounded like a child crying before it dissolved into white noise. The deep note began slowly changing, going lower pitch than normal. Then the crimson glow grew larger until it filled nearly the entire screen. Soon after, a blinding white flash appeared. Then, the screen went black. Nothing seemed to happen, just silence that went on for what felt like 10 seconds. Just as I started wondering if the recording itself had reached its end, a demonic-looking face popped up, making me jump back in surprise. At the exact same moment, a guttural scream had erupted, followed by a wet splattering sound. Another burst of dark stains covered the screen for a moment before building up. It would then morph into the THX logo. The logo itself looked familiar, but yet, wrong. It wasn't in the normal shine or metal everyone knew of. The letters appeared dark crimson, as though they had been illuminated from somewhere behind rather than lit from the front. The edges seemed to ripple slightly with VHS distortion, making the logo appear almost unstable. The deep note returned, only this time, different. At first, I thought it was static. Then I realized they were voices. Some whispered, some cried, some screamed. None of them were loud enough to understand individually, yet together they blended into the deep note until it became difficult to listen to. Just as the THX logo reached the center of the frame, a deafening blast, like that of a distant shotgun fire, came abruptly. The screen cut to black. The deep note continued for only a few seconds before fading into silence. Dark red text slowly faded insane. The audience is listening. Except now in a crimson font. Then a faint, low-pitched, slow and sinister laugh could be heard. Soon after the laughter faded, the screen faded to black. The video file of the recording soon ended. For several minutes after the recording ended, the Discord server went still. No reactions, no jokes, nothing. Not even the usual arguments over whether the trailer was fake. Then, one by one, people began leaving. A few claimed the video file itself was nothing more than an elaborate hoax, but they never explained why they deleted every message they had posted about it shortly afterward. Others refused to discuss it altogether. Whenever someone asked about the recording in the following days, nobody would respond back. Within a week, the channels leading to the search had been privated. Before long, the server itself was gone. I don't know if whether it was deleted by the owner or just simply abandoned. I never saw those kinds of people online again. The video file of the recording vanished along with it. Everyone who claimed to have downloaded the file reported the same thing, which that their copy was corrupted. Some wouldn't play past the opening seconds. Others ended in static before the trailer even reached the red light. A few insisted their files had been intact at first, only to become unreadable days later. Whether any of that is true, I'm uncertain. The trailer became lost media once again without any explanation, maybe now permanently. Part of me wants to believe someone will eventually uncover another copy hidden away on an old VHS tape in somebody's attic. Another part of me hopes they never do. None of the other THX trailers came close to what I saw that night. Whatever that recording was, it didn't belong with the rest. It also didn't help the people who were already afraid of the THX logo. I wasn't the only one affected. A handful of us from that server admitted we kept having the same recurring nightmare for weeks afterward. Not always about the trailer itself, but about the distant red glow from the distance and the deep note echoing through a dark void. Me and a handful of people had many unanswered questions. Who made the trailer? Why did it exist in the first place? If it wasn't an official THX trailer, then who was responsible for creating something so convincing? And if it was real, how had it gone unnoticed until now? For some, Hearing the deep note became enough to bring back memories of a trailer that, officially, was real, but would be forgotten. So if you're the kind of person who enjoys searching for lost media, consider this one. Search a warning: if you ever come across an unlabeled VHS claiming to contain an unknown THX trailer, leave it where you found it. Some things are forgotten for a reason, and if that recording is still out there somewhere, I only hope it stays lost. And to this day, I have never looked at the THX logo the same way again.